All right, party people in the place to be, vandals and all you boogers. This is a brand new episode. How did we get here? This is a new Big Tuesday. And
Yeah.
what do we got on the docket tonight, Joe? Because we're doing an all DC episode for all the big people.
Yeah. We're doing a double feature, a different but the same for Harley Quinn. So we're doing two Harley Quinn books. The first one we'll be talking about is Breaking Glass by Mario Tamaki and Steve Pugh on art duties. That's from an imprint. DC started trying to launch more YA books, and they had a whole series of. They had Raven, they had Beast Boy. They did one for Black Canary. I think they did a Constantine one. They had a ton of books for these YA titles, and most of them were pretty damn good. So, I mean, if you're interested in that, go check it out. There's a lot of great little fun titles, just like this one that came out. And the second book we'll be talking about is Harleen by you go ahead. I don't want to butcher his name.
Stjepan Sejic.
Stjepan Sejic. Stjepan Sejic, yeah. So anyone familiar with his work will know kind of what to expect visually, artistically from that point. And if you've read Sunstone, you can. It's got a little bit of a unorthodox love story between the Joker and Harleen in this. So yeah, it was a good one. Yeah.
That imprint that Joe was talking about, Harley Quinn Breaking Glass came out, was called DC Inc.
DC Inc. INK. Yeah.
Short-lived, but like Joe said, it was a lot of fun. They also did Marjorie Liu did a Batman graphic novel that I liked quite a bit, kind of about teenage Bruce Wayne catching a serial killer. It was kind of noir-y, pretty rad.
Yeah, and the one with Raven and Beast Boy, it was a trilogy. You had the Raven book, the Beast Boy book, then you had, once they got together, a Beast Boy and Raven book, and they sell it in a nice little like slip box, like all three collected in a slip case. So you could get that series in a slip case. I don't know if it's still in print or if it's still if you could still buy that. But that's definitely, if you're interested in that one, that's a nice little presentation that they put together. They had a Swamp Thing one too. I can't remember what it's called. They did almost all the characters. They almost did them all with this imprint, and it's it was really good. There was a lot of great little stories that came out of that. Oh, hey Ronan,
what's up? And Spanky was here yesterday. I don't know if it would be.
I guess the titles. Yeah, the title's not self-explanatory enough, I guess. Eh?
But, yeah, DC Inc. I don't know. I don't think they it went over well, because I see these on even if they're not in print, I see them in the wild all the time, and they're usually pretty cheap. You can pick up the DC Inc. books for pretty good prices. So, like, if you can see them, get on them. They were a lot of fun, especially this one we're going to talk about tonight. My opinion. I think Mario Tamaki really nailed what she was going for. But before we get into that, Joe, do you have a check-in, brother?
Well, just some stuff we had mentioned. Like, I went and watched the first episode of Monarch because you'd brought it up, I think, last episode. And man, I didn't know Wyatt Russell was in that, so I was like pleasantly surprised when I saw he was in that. So I'll definitely continue watching that.
Yeah, it's cool because him and Kurt Russell play the same character, just in two different time periods. So, and they're both sharing duties as like this one character. It's pretty rad. I like the gimmick. I thought it
and man, well. John Goodman has lost some weight. Holy shit!
Didn't recognize him at first too, huh? Right?
Holy moly, he's lost some weight. It's crazy. Yeah, but that's what I was telling Pat, and she's like, yeah. When you get to a certain age, your doctors are going to be like, dude, if you don't want to die, you gotta start exercising, watch your diet, and it shows he's lost some weight. So he must be being a little more careful now that he's getting into his golden years. And I got some mail calls this weekend, man.
Ooh yeah,
Corona Bible came in. It's a pretty thick one.
500 and something pages. Yeah.
Yeah. And I got his other
that.
And I got his other Fantagraphics book.
That one's about 300 around.
Just over 2.
Okay. Well, Yeah, he doesn't skip, man. He makes books, man.
Yeah. So we're gonna have him on next Tuesday. Next Tuesday, that would be the 12th, I believe. Where's my? Oh yeah, right here.
Yeah, that's the
12th at
12th.
2 p.m. 2 p.m. Eastern. That'd be 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Where we'll have him on as a guest, so that should be pretty fun. Aside from that, man, I've been mainly reading for the show, so nothing. Didn't hit any new floppies over during the week, so yeah.
All right. Cool. I got some floppies. I haven't got to read them yet. I got the first issue of Crave, of course. Really
Oh
love the
yeah,
new
yeah,
book.
yeah. Mhm.
I got the new issue of What's the Furthest Place from Here, and I think City of Sirens. Yeah, I got the new City of Sirens.
That the issue 1 with the vinyl is probably the furthest place from here for me. It's probably really far from my place.
Oh, you gave it to Goose, who probably be
No,
joining the show.
I gave him number 2 and 3 because I got screwed on number 1. So I was like, I was gonna do a viral video and just burn it, like I said, but I didn't have the heart to do that. So I sent him to Goose because he got the first one, but he didn't. For some reason, he got screwed on the second and third ones. So I figured I'll send it to him. He can have the full collection. You know.
Also, that's kind of a lame thing to do, man. Like burning
What,
shit.
burn them?
Yeah, on a video, like that's so like, oh man, I'm mad at Nike, so I'm gonna burn my Jordans. Like that's not a good look. It's kind of good you didn't do it, Joe.
Oh well, it would have felt good though.
Maybe
Your
it's a good comic, and I never cared about the vinyl gimmicks, so like it doesn't bother me.
Oh, I'm gonna read it. Like it must be due for a hardcover release soon, right? A collected edition.
Yeah, I think
I'm waiting for that.
They just finished the third arc. I think they're on the fourth right now. So yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That'd
And
be
I'm
15 issues. Yeah, maybe it's already listed. Let's go see. I don't know if that if it's been announced or not. I haven't looked at the.
I haven't seen it announced because like the third trade isn't even out yet. I figured.
Oh, it
like,
isn't.
No,
Okay, so it'll probably be a year. Usually, what the deluxe editions come out a year after the third trade, roughly, probably.
Sounds about right.
So probably by next holidays, they'll have probably a deluxe edition out.
And that'll be good. That'll give us enough time so we won't feel bad about spoiling it when we do a review of it. So give some people some time to read it. But aside from those, like I've been watching shows like you, man. Like I might stop watching Monarch, man, because this fourth episode was fucking garbage. Like, oh,
was it?
Yeah. If I'm gonna give it one more episode, if it doesn't pick back up, like I'm probably gonna drop it. I'm really loving Beacon 23 though. That show is that's MGM Plus. It's got Lena Headey in it. It's a sci-fi show. It's gangster but what I'm really into, man, is I finished the first season of Reacher, and
yeah, you were saying you watched that, yeah.
Yeah, the second season's about to start. It starts next week, and I'm really hyped for that because the first season was really good, man. Like, kind of reminded me of like Hap and Leonard, but a little more. I don't know.
I'd have to go back and finish watching that. I started Hap and Leonard, but I never finished it. So
it was really good.
Yeah, really... I enjoyed what I did watch of it, but for some reason, life happens and you kind of get off stuff and you forget to go back to it. And it was just one of those instances where I just never remembered to get back to it. So, yeah.
Really crazy offbeat mysteries, man. I enjoy that shit. I think it's a lot of fun. And yeah, so like definitely check out Reacher. You can watch the first season for free on Freevee, so get on that.
Yeah, and we like that. We were talking over the weekend, and yeah, we like that actor, the guy who plays Hawk from Titans series. There, like he's he's pretty charismatic. I find he's a good actor.
Alan Richardson, I believe is his name.
Yeah. He has a decent presence. He's a
funny fucker for a big giant man.
Exactly. Kind of like a less popular John Cena, I'd say.
What's cool about him is like guys that are like his size and got to have his look usually play villains. So I think it's kind of cool that like somebody that looks like him is actually getting like hero roles or like protagonist roles in something instead of just being the bad guy all the time.
Yeah, but like I was saying, like he definitely has that same presence as John Cena, right? But he probably just doesn't get the recognition as much, but he has that kind of charm to him. You know,
He's a
when
little bit more believable when he's menacing. He kind of does
Mhm.
this kind of thing
Yeah,
where he kind of intimidates people, and it's a little more
mhm.
believable from him than
Yeah,
John Cena because I just see John Cena as like this goofy teddy bear, whereas this
yeah, he has that look right to him, but yeah, this guy has a much more GQ look to him. You know, so a little bit, yeah,
kind of more threatening. Yeah.
yeah, a little more serious for sure, for sure. Yeah, but yeah, if you like you were saying, if people enjoy his work, like from Titans and other stuff, then
Oh, he was
you know,
so good as Hawk, man. Like I really
yeah,
wish they would have gave him and Minka Kelly their own
their
spinoff
own
show. Just
series, yeah,
about
yeah,
them,
because
like
that,
back before he got hurt and shit, like where they were like busting heads and stuff. That'd have been so
yeah,
cool.
yeah, and her with the platinum hair, that's awesome. I loved it. It was great. Mm. But that series is done now, I guess, right?
Yeah, it got shit canned with by James Gunn
All the
because
rest of the stuff, yeah,
everything has to be one universe now.
yeah.
Okay,
Oh
boomer.
well. Yeah, such a booger.
He's a total booger, man. As Harley Quinn would call him.
Yeah, yeah,
So you
yeah,
want to get into that?
yeah, man.
Let's hop
Broken
right
Glass.
into, man.
All right, cool. Broken Glass.
Harley Quinn Breaking Glass by Mariko Tamaki and Steve Pugh. And dude, this book looks so good, man. I love Steve Pugh's art, but like just the minimalist art palette that color palette that he has, like the just the green hue and the black and white, and then the reds and stuff that he uses, just
Yeah,
make this book sing.
and it's cool the way, like later on in the book, where uh, like the scenes with the Joker, he starts throwing more punchy colors into the mix, like where she starts to become find herself as the character of Harley Quinn, like we know Harley Quinn today. How he just starts adding more splashes of more vibrant colors. I like the way the story went because when it first starts, you know, like you said, it's kind of this like monochromatic kind of like either a sepia or a cooler tone or a cyan tone. So it's kind of cool. It gives like the story a certain mood as you're reading it. So instead of being just a straight up like black and white with with ink washes, he goes with like these tones, like a sepia tone or a cyan tone. So it's pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, it definitely lends to the mood of the book for sure.
Yeah. And this one, it's about Harley. It's kind of like a high school tale. Like we said, these are kind of more YA, and it kind of reimagines these characters in a really young setting and sets them all in high school, pretty much. Kind
So
of
about what age would you say she is in this? 16, 17?
a little younger than that. I'd say they look like freshmen. I'd put them at about 15 to 16 at the most.
15,
You know what I
16?
mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like really early high school looking.
Okay.
And Harley's mom basically just got her a big job, man, and it's really important. She's on a got a job on a cruise ship, so she sends Harley to Gotham to stay with her grandma. And you kind of get this kind of neat introduction to her on this bus ride. You kind of see how her humor works. She gets to the big city of Gotham, and she gets to her grandma's apartment building, and it's this kind of cool theater that she doesn't really know what's up with it, but she likes the paint job. She gets upstairs and meets this just kind of really kind fella who introduces himself as Mama, and basically kind of tells her that like, oh, her grandma died a while back, but she won lottery scratches off, so she paid her rent in advance. So basically, it's okay for Harley to stay there by herself as long as, and Mama's going to keep an eye on her, but as long as Harley goes to school and doesn't get in trouble.
Mm.
But we kind of get our first flashback that like staying out of trouble is going to be a little hard for Harley because you kind of see this. It's a reoccurring tone in it, but like basically when she was a little kid, her and her mom went to the grocery store, and when they came out, they went to an amusement park. When they came out, their car was being stolen, and you kind of just kind of get the opening to that before Harley's first day at Gotham High, and man,
Yeah.
she she's so adorable in this book, man. I love the way that Mariko Tamaki writes her and how
Mm.
Steve Pugh draws her, man. She is just such a wiling free spirit. She doesn't really understand too much of what's going on, but she just rolls with anything that happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for the most
Yeah.
part.
She identifies people that are like jerks or douches, you know. but not quite. She doesn't have the awareness of the world around her as much for like the subtleties, like you said, right? So yeah, she's she's a very innocent kind of character. Like her reactions are almost instinctive. Like she reacts to stuff kind of instead of like how would you say that? Like she doesn't read a situation, she reacts to it. You
Yeah,
know, like instinctively. You know, she doesn't. Yeah, yeah, like kind of no filter, basically, like just reacting to stuff as she goes through it. Mhm. Not unlike the first friend she makes. I mean, they're kind of opposites a bit, right?
right. Basically, her mom always told her to like try to find the most interesting people to be friends with and people who know the most. So she kind of runs into this girl that doesn't stop talking and kind of, or in a different way than Harley, but like she's always using big words and she knows, or at least acts like she knows everything. And this is young, Poison Ivy,
Hmm.
basically, and like she's her first
Yeah,
friend. And Poison Ivy is like Harley herself. She's kind of a hippie,
yeah,
but
hippie. Yeah, she takes offense to that term, though.
yeah, but I guess the modern term would be a wokey. But yeah, like
Yeah,
but her
yeah,
parents are political activists as well, and she's just been brought up, fighting the
it,
man.
yeah. In that environment, yeah, yeah. And
It's
the way they play off the whole poison ivy thing is uh, at her near her home and her community. They have a community garden that's really important to her because her parents helped build that community garden up, and that's her tie to like
the
the poison
green,
ivy
basically.
character. Yeah, exactly. Like is that community garden that she holds very near and dear to her heart. Yeah,
And it's really great
it's
that their friendship begins because at first Ivy's kind of like, man, will this girl leave me alone? She's
mm,
fucking weird. But like Harley just wins her over, man. Just doing her Harley thing, trying to make her explain like why are you like that? Why is that bad? You know what I mean? And
mhm,
Ivy just kind of like, okay, I kind of got a project here, but like,
yeah.
man, I'm probably a friend for her though too, because I don't think Ivy really had too many of those. They don't make that abundantly clear, but
Yeah, she's very like Harley's character can be seen as annoying, but she's got such a bubbly, positive attitude and outlook towards everything. Like she's so positively enthusiastic about whatever her and Ivy are trying to do. Like she's fully committed and like and the exuberance with which she kind of supports Ivy in her little protests about the which we'll see later on with the film club or whatever it is. Yeah,
the film
yeah,
club.
yeah. So it's you got the contrast of the two characters there, which works really well.
And then, meanwhile, while all this is going on, there's kind of this shadowy, hooded character you see in
Mhm.
the background, kind of observing everybody. And I wonder who that is, man. Is that the Joker? That's kind of like a running
Yeah,
thing in the book.
yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
that who the
You know,
Joker really is, or
yeah, because he has to make an appearance at some point. The Joker, he's going to show up. So
so
yeah, you
who's the
drop that.
shadowy edge lord?
Yeah, exactly. So you're like, oh, you assume it's the Joker. Like at first you're thinking that must be the Joker. Like it's not revealed till a little bit later, but I mean, yeah, they definitely drop hints of who that person is.
So,
Did,
Harley. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
yeah, did you when you read it the first time, did you figure out who that character was before the end? Like, did you have it figured out, or?
Kinda, yeah, because I mean, I love the little mysteries in the book, the kind of twists that they play, but
Mhm,
like they are kind of paper thin, but like this book is
mhm.
for a younger crowd, so
Yeah,
I didn't mind it. But yeah, kind of
yeah,
we'll get to
yeah. We
the
get to it later. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mm.
So Harley's kind of found a niche, and she really kind of likes living with Mama. And you find out that Mama kind of runs a drag show, and like all the other drag queens, kind of adopt Harley Quinn as their little mascot. You know what I mean? They watch films with her, and they kind of just teach her about like how to be fabulous. You know what I mean? Like live the life, and they kind of teach her how to do her makeup. You kind of learn in a roundabout way in a little bit, but yeah,
And
it
she definitely has that perfect energy to match theirs, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
they're over the top, their
yeah,
exuberance. Yeah, she's
yeah,
right there with
exactly.
them.
Yeah, it's a match made in heaven.
So yeah, like Joe said, like this is where we kind of meet the villain of the book, John Kane, leader of
Mm.
the film club, and basically his parents are really rich. They own like a coffee company, they own a real estate company, and they're trying to gentrify like this side of Gotham, pretty much. Like you kind of find out in the next issue and everything. But like basically, he kind of rules over the film club with an iron hand, and he only plays like boomer movies, kind of, as you could say it, like uh, by questionable directors and stuff like that. And Poison Ivy's trying to get him to play more diverse films, and he kind of always blows her off and talks shit to her. You know what I mean? And you kind of get like really cool characterization.
Yeah, purposely provoking her, right? Without really needing to. So there's your that builds where she tells him to screw off and stuff. I love that panel.
Yeah, it's dude, Steve Pugh's faces are just so great, man. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, I think he probably had his daughter come in or like had a little girl come in and do that for him so he could draw that so perfectly, man. Because
Yeah.
so basically, and this is where Harley goes and meets Ivy's parents and like finds out how hippie they are, and this is kind of where you find out that John Kane's parents are trying to gentrify the neighborhood, and I love how ridiculously huge like Pew drops the coffee cups from their coffee company, and even Harley's like,
yeah, yeah.
why is their coffee so big? That's the devil's coffee.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Really funny stuff in this book. Like it has a really strong, hard message to it, because like this kind of happened to me in my hometown, Modesto. We kind of it kind of got caught in that big housing boom of the early 2000s, and yeah, that's why I don't live in California anymore, because of people like John Kane's parents. So yeah, this book kind of I really like the theme, and what this book is trying to get to kids. Like this is happening all over the country and it's not good, and I really appreciate that, like how fun Mariko Tamaki like delivers that message in this book.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically, right after the introduction of John Kane's parents, Harley goes home to Mama and basically sees Kane's coffee cup there, and that's where you find out that it's the devil's coffee, and like basically like they're kicking they're basically condemning the building so they can like I think they're turning it into a school for a private school for or charter school for rich kids type of thing. I believe, right, Joe?
Yeah, they've got all kinds of different projects, but that's one of them. Yeah, yeah.
So we switch back to Harley, and this is where Harley kind of first gets the Harlequin outfit. Her and Ivy are basically saying only clowns discriminate, and are basically calling the film club a bunch of class clowns because of their kind of callous treatment towards any idea of diversification of the films that they play. And it's really funny, man. Like just a lot of a lot of just the scenes of Harley being Harley are just beyond fun in this book. Like it's one of the ones that I would like to see like some kind of an adaptation of both of these, but I'm not sure if an animated or a live action. If they could find a little girl that could do this characterization as good as it's written in the book, that would be so cool. I would actually really dig to see that.
Yeah, and that's where she starts like early on. It's boogers. Like anyone she doesn't like, she calls them boogers.
Yeah, so that's her personal term. But basically, that's when she finally gets Ivy to start saying it, and Ivy's like, "Man, I can't believe I'm saying that word."
Yeah, exactly. He's a booger.
So yeah, and basically, like the Queens are trying to do a save the theater type thing, so they're having a charity show, and it gets broken up by somebody throwing a brick through the window and basically saying go away. But Harley goes out and sees a cane coffee cup outside, so she kind of puts two and two together, and then we kind of switch back to that story about her mom's car getting stolen. And this is where we kind of learn that Harley, as sweet and bubbly as she is, she kind of has impulse control, because she tracks down the boy who stole her mom's car, beats the fuck out of him,
Beats the shit out of him. Yeah.
and she gets arrested. And you find out that like they arrest her and like actually give her a rap sheet, because it's not the first time she's kind of like followed boys home and beat the fuck out of them. You kind of find out.
Yeah. I love the way the mother freaks out with the boy when she's kicking his ass. Oh my god, it's done so well. That whole scene, the layout of the panels, it's good, and the mother's reaction is just, it's perfect. It's just so well done.
So like Joe said, we Harley's kind of a creature of reaction, so we get some really, really great panels of her like suiting up for the first time, going out with her bat, and finding a cane coffee shop and just smashing the window. And just having a good old time, man, getting her revenge. And she kind of gets approached by this shadowy character and like, hey, the cops are coming, run with me. And like she basically follows him down the sewer. And this is where we get introduced to our Joker, our My Chemical Joker, as I like to call him.
Yeah.
The My Kim Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. He wears.
I like this design though, man. I think it's pretty cool, despite like the characterization, because like the Joker in this book is a really shitty little dude, man, and they present him that way all the way through.
Yeah, yeah, and it's definitely a different twist on the whole Harley and Joker dynamic too.
Yeah,
like I enjoyed the dynamic that they went with for this one.
Yeah, so basically right off the bat, like the Joker is basically just trying to stoke Harley's more chaotic side. He's trying to bring it out of her more and more. So he's
nurture her impulsive side. Yeah.
So yeah, basically after that, like she's kind of not smitten with him, but she thinks he's kind of cool at this point. So she's kind of telling Ivy about her at school, and meanwhile, like there's more stuff going on at the film club, and they're getting more and more with their protests. You know what I mean? They're getting more. Harley and Ivy are getting a little more involved with it, but basically, like you end up finding out that Kane is evicting the queens faster than they thought. I forget the reason. Man, I just read it, but do you remember why? Like they gave a shitty reason.
I don't remember exactly. Some kind of demolition. Yeah, that like the demolition had to be moved up to be able to meet deadlines for. Anyway, it was something that had to do with a contract. I think for the new building or some shit like that. Yeah.
So basically, furious about that, Harley kind of goes out again, and this time she's actually looking for the Joker, and like runs into him and his little butt boys, and they're like hanging out. They're running around smashing windows, and he's doing his like schmoozy thing. Meanwhile, she's just kind of like thinking like, you're kind of a dink though. You don't let me talk, and you don't shut up. Like, and he keeps asking her these questions, but her responses are always really funny. Like he's like talking about how he hates boring things, and she's like, boring, like the bus? Wait, no, the bus is awesome. So like her conversations are so much fun to read this book.
Yeah, she definitely hits the nose on the character's mood and like tone. Like Harley is often having a conversation in her own head, like, and I think Mariko nails that perfectly. Where like she goes off and like kind of has these conversations in her own head, like just spurred on by whatever, right? And she goes off on these little tangents of and I thought Mariko was hit it perfectly for that part, the way she
But basically she at this point, like, it's kind of a crux. Is she going to take the more progressive side of protesting with Ivy, or is she going to embrace the chaos with the Joker? And right here, this is where like it's kind of a 50-50 shot, but the Joker is kind of winning her over a little bit because of how angry she is. And basically the Joker is pretending that he doesn't like Klein Industries or
Kane
Industries, my bad, either. So like she's kind of seeing his side or kind of feeling him a little bit.
They have a common enemy, right? So
we switch. So we switch back to little girl Harley, and we find out that after she gets locked up the first time, she gets out and she finds the guy again and torches him and his friends' motorcycles.
Yeah.
And
she gives him fair warning, like, if you say another word about me or anything, I'm gonna fucking find you. And yeah.
So kind of showing, just she is a little psychotic, you know what I mean? No matter how bright and bubbly, because the beating him up was a little extra, but like tracking him down and then burning his motorcycle, that just shows that like she's kind of scary, you know what I mean, if you really piss her off. Which you don't want to do in this book.
No.
But basically, like because they're losing the theater and it's definite now because they're going to tear the building down before they can try to get the money. Mama's like really depressed, so this kind of gets Harley a little more in the dumps. But meanwhile, like on the other side of things, she goes and hangs out with Ivy, and like Joe said, like she gets to go to the community garden, and Ivy's trying to show her like the more positive side of like what could you could achieve in Gotham. You know what I mean? Some things are possible, and you know what I mean, and like some things are worth saving. You know what I mean? You can't just burn everything, and you know. Not really winning Harley over too much, but like Harley likes the way Ivy thinks. And I mean, like at this point, I still think she's kind of 50-50. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She definitely has that chaotic side to her where, like she says, like, and it comes to the point where they have their protest, right? They do another protest for the films, and that's what kind of cements Harley's resolve.
Yeah, exactly. That's when she jumps completely to the chaos, right?
Yeah, like because she's like, all right, we'll do it your way. Like she's giving Ivy the benefit of the doubt, right? Like your method isn't the same as my method, but hey, I'm willing to give it a try, right? We're friends. You seem to be pretty adamant that this is the way to do it, so I'll join your gang. I'll protest with you, and we'll try to get these things done. And so that's kind of her the two sides, right? Either like take it upon into your own hands and do it like you said, the impulsive, chaotic way, or do it in a more structured, civil way by protest. So, yeah, that's her internal struggle.
And then
so
we get this,
the Ivy and Joker, the two pulling her in two different directions, right? And that's kind of a little bit of the storyline in it is, which side is she going to choose?
And I like that they use that dynamic because it was set up in the cartoon, and I really like that the whole thing about you know, Ivy and Harley being buddies. You know what I mean? I really ever since they started that, I think that's been a cool idea, and I think this is one of the neater ways that they've kind of played on that. I mean, a lot of people like to ship them together, and I'm not against it. It's kind of hot, but like in this one, I kind of like that it's just you know, through different types of friendships, you know what I mean? And you perceive people when you're younger, and it doesn't have to actually do with like any kind of a sexual relationship. I kind of really dig that about this book. They kind of avoid anything like that in this.
Yeah, it's like just two friends trying to, you know, get through life, helping each other out.
I love this sequence that they kind of have of Harley, you know, like trying to still have fun, like through like the kind of sad and chaos that's going on. And her and this one drag queen that she hangs out with, Max, they go shopping and she buys her actually her iconic Harley Quinn mask. And they're kind of having a good old time, and like they go and get some ice cream afterwards, and like they're kind of having a good time, you know, being flamboyant in the ice cream parlor and speaking French and stuff, and like this family kind of, excuse me, we're trying to have a family moment over here. And I love the way Maxima just shuts them down, and then Harley goes and steals the cherry out for ice cream. Booger, like,
Booger, yeah.
it's a really cool scene of like people getting put in their place for, I couldn't understand somebody, doing that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're kind of trying to have a family moment, but it's a public place and people can have their fun too. So shut
And
up. They weren't being gross or rude. He was
or
speaking
rude or loud, or like there was no
obscenity going on.
obnoxious. Yeah, nothing. They were just having a conversation like any other people, and so yeah, it's like,
Mind your business, fool.
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, and then yeah, basically like the protest is going pretty well because there's other kids now that tried to get their movies introduced into the film club, and John Kane told them no too. So Ivy and Harley are starting to get buddies, and like, man, Harley's just so down that these other, so you guys want to dress as clowns too? And like the one kid's like, yeah, and the other one, I don't really want to. Really great scene.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, Harley's kind of like goes and meets the Joker again, and there's a really funny scene where they eat chicken. Like,
oh yeah, she's sneaking out at 11. They're like, 11, bring us back some chicken. Yeah, that's her excuse. She's going out to get chicken.
But here's the big crux that Joe was talking about. Like, the big protest happens at the big film screening that John Kane tries to have, and Harley and all of them, they rush the stage and they have like this really kind of, peaceful protest like you're supposed to be able to have, but like they get in trouble for it.
Yeah, they go to the principal's office.
Mostly just because John Kane's parents paid for the screening. Basically, that's the only reason why the one, like, their protest gets shut down and like they get in trouble. But like, yeah, like they're in the detention, and Harley, she just jumps right out the window and leaves school. She's like,
yeah, but that scene when they're in the principal's office, she's like, so are we going to get our movies? Like, she doesn't realize that it was a complete bust, right? She's still thinking, okay, we're going to get our movies now, though, right? And then when Ivy's like, no, man, like, and then that's where she comes to realization that no, you can't,
yeah.
That's
not only did we lose, but like the principal was racist to me, and you didn't even defend me.
But it kind of flew over my head too a bit. I was like, what do you mean? And it's not until she explains it to Ivy where I was like, okay, I get you, because back in the day when you had, like in the 50s, when people hired colored people to do their babysitting their kids or housework or a maid and stuff, they always called them by their proper name, right? Miss whatever instead of their family name.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what that was in reference to. Okay.
And yeah, he would refer to everybody else by their last name, but he would call her Miss Ivy.
Like hinting back to like the 50s, right? When black people were servants, a lot of black people, those are the only jobs they could get, right? So
and the thing is after Ivy pointed it out to him, he kept doing it too. So that's what kind of cemented that, like, maybe he was doing it on purpose.
Yeah, because she does make a point of it.
So like Joe said, this is like when Harley like decides that like she's going to embrace the chaos. So like we get the punchy colors again. It gets really vivid, and she goes out to meet with the Joker again. And this is where the Joker kind of tries to tell her his plan. And he's basically telling her that like they're going to go in to Kane Tower, they're going to wipe the computers, and they're going to blow it up. Basically pull a Tyler Durden is what he's selling her on. They're going to wipe out everybody's debt, and basically like nobody's going to lose their houses. You know what I mean? Mama's going to get to keep the theater and everything. So Harley's like, damn. She's like, hell yeah, let's do this.
Yep. Save the community.
Meanwhile, like the same night this is going to happen, the Queens meet up with Ivy's parents, and basically they're joining this big protest that's going to march the streets of Gotham to try to stop the gentrification, try to get more people to acknowledge what's going on.
Sign a petition to save the community and everything, and march down the street to down to Kane Enterprises and protest.
And Mama gives Harley this really cool Harley Quinn figure that she thinks that she'd like, and basically we get this really funny scene where basically the Joker leaves this outfit behind that he wants Harley Quinn to wear, because basically she's supposed to sneak in, get to the front of the building and sidetrack the guards so they could break in. And so he gives her this really skimpy cheerleader outfit that he wants her to wear. So, but Harley ain't playing that. She's like, no. And she makes her own outfit that's pretty much the classic cartoon Harley Quinn outfit, which is pretty cool. I really like it. She does her own
Close to
thing.
it, yeah. With the fur arms, I love that look. Like, yeah, that's a nice little touch. That's like a wink to all the queens, right? All her friends, the
Yeah,
drag queens. So yeah, yeah, I like that. I like that look. It looks pretty cool. It's like one of those, the fur jackets that are they cut short. It's like
yeah.
the half length, like that's what she wears over top there, and it definitely gives it definitely a little flair to it. Yeah.
So yeah, Harley's gonna go, and she basically goes to the Kane Tower, and like she was supposed to, she distracts the guards, but she like basically takes him out, man, for the Joker, and she lets him in. But meanwhile, she sees that his shoes are muddy, and then this will come into play later. But like he kind of blows it off, and they go upstairs, and like she kind of realizes like, why are we on the roof? We're supposed to be hacking computers, and finds out that like basically he lied to her. He's gonna blow up the sign off the building and kill the protesters, man. He's gonna try to squash Mama and everybody else. So Harley starts beating the fuck out of him like she's known to do, rips his mask off, and lo and behold, the Joker is very punchable John Kane,
Yeah.
dickhole, son of the company. And like he's just like a little psychopath, man. I don't even know what his in game here was, but like I think he just like he just likes he's just a little psychopath was the point of it, right?
hmm Yeah, just a kid that thinks he can do whatever he wants, get away with whatever he does, no consequences, and yeah, yeah. So he kind of manipulated her a little bit, and I like this is where how Joker becomes a central part of Harley's story. Like this is where I'm like, okay, this is where she she channels her inner like rage or whatever, but instead of being obsessed with the Joker becomes
Her enemy.
her enemy, which motivates her, right, in her actions, not because she wants to impress him or or win his admiration. It's more the opposite, right? So I like that little twist in it.
Straight up. Yeah. So basically she can't stop the bomb basically, but she slides down and warns everybody, and everybody's able to get safe.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she kind of realizes that the other bomb, why Joker's shoes were muddy, is he's gonna blow up Ivy's garden. So she runs over there and defuses the bomb, but she gets arrested.
Hmm.
And so does John Kane though, which
Yeah,
is
because his plan was to frame her, but that backfires on him, and he actually gets arrested as well.
yeah. But he gets bailed out basically and gets to go home in a with the ankle bracelet. She gets locked up, and you end up finding out this whole story has been her narrating it to the other girl prisoners. And it's really funny the questions that they ask her, because a lot of them are lost and like, okay, where does this tie back into Alice in Wonderland? There's all kinds of really neat interactions. But while she's locked up, the Joker sends this other girl in to try to beat her up, and like just like Harley's known to do, she completely whoops the girl's ass and basically tells her that like, yeah, dude, you tell the Joker I miss him too, okay? And she steals a spoon from her pudding cup, and yeah, she basically uses it to break out of jail. But we find out who the hooded emo boy was that you see
Yeah,
throughout the school. It's little Bruce Wayne, and he was
Bruce
actually
Wayne
going to get Harley out of jail, but she breaks herself out,
breaks
and
out. Yeah,
she goes for the Joker. She's
yeah.
gonna go whoop his ass. She just goes out, and you find out basically like it's sad that um the book doesn't have the happiest of endings, because like the gentrification happens, the Queens lose the theater,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like it's not a complete happy ending for Harley, and
No.
that's fucked up. That's kind of why I like the book. It's kind of a nice um, reality check for young readers. You know what I mean? I think that would kind of be like it's a smack in the face, but like it's a very well warranted one. And I like that a book geared towards young people had an ending like that. That like, sure, these characters didn't end as horribly as possible, but at the same time, like they didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which is
Yeah.
kind of cool, but it's a lesson that you have to learn. You know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
it's kind of for a kids comic to have that lesson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and is that it? We're done with the.
Yeah,
We
pretty
get to
much.
the end. Yeah, that's it. Like at the end, what is it? She goes back and visits Mama, right?
Yeah,
Where she's talking to him from backstage, where you don't see her, but he can hear her, and he's like, "You take care of yourself, little one," and kind of it's a nice little send off, and that's where she's like, "All right, it's time to kick some ass," and that's where she fully embraces her character of Harley Quinn as we know her, right? Yeah, she
yeah, because
becomes a vigilante.
they got a new theater that they set up
Yeah,
in an old chicken restaurant that they
yeah.
to get. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're not being completely held down. They're still doing their thing. They
No,
just had to.
they land back on their feet, and yeah, yeah. So that at least that's the happy part of the story.
Yeah, it's not, and I'm not sure if uh, Ivy gets to keep her garden or not. They didn't make that clear. I mean, like, it didn't get blown up, but like, it didn't say if like that. That's why I was
I would
kind of hoping.
assume. I would assume they do. Oh no, because the whole community gets. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Yeah, they don't go into the specifics of that after what happened to the community garden and all that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, this is such a good fun book. Like, even if you have like a young kid, especially like a daughter, I would really recommend getting this book for them. I think it's a lot of fun. I think that it has a great message, a great morality to it, and I think that it's a book that kind of um, does wokeness right, in my opinion. Like it has what could be considered those attributes to it, but like it does it in a very educational and a really fun way where it's not just on a soapbox slapping you in the face. It's actually a really good part of the story, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very well written into a narrative. And um, you don't get that too often. You know what I mean? A lot of times, you just kind of
Yeah.
get a book woke for wokeness' sake. Whereas this one, it's actually a very good narrative, and it has that type of morality to it. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't recommend it highly enough. You know what I mean? It's a good, fun
Yeah, it
take
was
on
really
Harley.
good. Yeah, and like you said, like the costume too that they gave her was definitely heavily inspired or influenced by the original iteration of the character with the jester suit and everything, uh, which was what it was in the
Animated
Batman
series.
animated series. Yeah, she was created by Paul Denny and Bruce Timm from the
Yep.
Batman animated series. That was what the 20 episode 22, the Joker's Favor, in September 11th 92 was her first appearance, and she came from the animated series. So imagine that something that was brought into that animated series is quite influential on the Batman character, I find. And you get like one of the more iconic characters from the Batman series came from that animated series. And look now, she's like one of the main figures of the DCU, right? She was in
Yeah.
Suicide Squad. She's front and center of the DC universe now. So yeah.
The point you'd figure she'd been a character that had been around for a long time, or actually came from the comics. Like, but like, no, she was actually just created for the cartoon, and I don't think she actually made the crossover to the comics until I think actually the first series was done running, and it was like the New Adventures of Batman and Robin. I think it was probably around the time she actually did make it into the cartoon, the comic books.
I'm not sure what her first comic appearance was. I think it was in the actual the adaptation comics of the series as well. Was her first comic appearance. Uh, Batman
Probably.
Adventures. It was called Batman Adventures, I think. Uh, that That's actually worth the quite.
Quite a pretty penny.
Oh yeah, I think it's up at over over $600 for that first issue of Harley Quinn in the comics. Here, I have it right here. Yeah, Batman Adventures number 12. That's the one with the cover with the Batgirl on the cover. Let's see. I'll show it up on the screen here. It's Batman Adventures number 12 is her first comic appearance. It's that one right there. That if you have that in your collection, that's her first comic appearance, and that's worth quite a bit actually. And that was the comic series that ran that was inspired from or adapted from the animated series directly. So yeah, yeah, that's actually a good one to have. And like that series is kind of like geared towards kids, right? So it's kind of cool to see that her first comic appearance is definitely tied to the animated series as well, which she made her first appearance in, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'm not sure when she actually made the actual jump to comics. I think probably wasn't very much before like she became like the star of, like the Suicide Squad comic. Like I didn't read too much DC back in the day, but like I do know that like she didn't actually take place in the comics until quite late, and actually her even being around. So and yeah, now she's like probably like in the top 10 most popular DC characters, like probably in the top 5.
Yeah, and she got that the rebranding too, like her look now, like that look with the
different colored hair.
Yeah, the two colored hair, where she's dressed a little more
Risque.
scantily with
Yeah,
the hot pants, like and
yeah,
the
that was
belt.
the new 52 look for sure, man. Like yeah,
Yeah,
that was. I remember the first time they did that was in the A-list Suicide Squad book. It was the first time I
yeah,
saw her
yeah.
that. Like the more punk rock looking Harley Quinn, or I guess maybe like goth Hot Topic Quinn. I guess maybe we could see it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like a little touch of emo in there, Yeah. Oh, Spanky's in the chats. How's it going, Spanky? Yeah.
Which one on Eisner, Spanky? Are we talking about the Batman Adventures book? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I think that if it was anywhere near as good as the animated series, it was a damn good comic.
Yeah, because what's his name drew it, didn't he? Oh shit, what's his name? He's got a very good reputation, that artist. Shit. Which the life of me, I can't think of his name now, but I think he did the Frontier Justice League Frontiers book as well.
Darwin Cook?
Isn't he the one who drew the adventures? Wasn't it Darwin Cook who did the art for that series?
I'm not sure, man. If it was, that's gangster. Like,
I think it was him. I'm not entirely.
He's got that style. I mean,
yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't quote me on that, but it seems to me it was Darwin Cook who worked on that series. Yeah. I don't have the specifics here, yeah, so I'd have to look it up, but don't quote me on that because. Yeah, but it seems to me it was him that worked on that, Darwin Cook. It's definitely, if it's not him, it's in the same style as what he draws, right? So.
So Joe, we did we did the little kid Harley Quinn. Are you ready to get into the adult Harley Quinn, the Black Label stuff?
Yeah, man. Yeah, Harleen. Yeah.
We dipped our finger in the ink a little bit. Now it's time to get into that Black Label. And yeah, man, this hardcover. I hate dust covers, but this is probably one of my favorite dust covers ever. Joe, show the people why.
Yeah. Okay. So here, I'm just gonna. It's an acetate dust cover that her eye comes through. You see how it's see-through? Then the eye comes through the book. So it reveals Harleen Quinzel, and then you have Harley Quinn on the cover. So it's an acetate dust jacket. Yeah, so like, see, it's all see-through. You can see my eye through it, you know. So I'm Harley Quinn. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. You know, it's fun. It's a fun little detail. It makes it a lot more interesting. I enjoyed it when I first got the book. I didn't know the dust cover was like that, so it was pretty cool. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, nice little hardcover.
I'll qualify why I dislike dust covers. I'm a cat owner, and like my cats love to find my dust covers and fuck them up. So like I always have to find the most ridiculous place in my house to try to put them on top of something, and it doesn't really work. Like the wind blows and like they fall off, and my cats find them.
Yeah.
But yeah, this book has one of the best ones ever, and like we said, this one is written and drawn by one Mr. Stjepan Sejic, and
Yep.
this one is more on the adult side. Not really for what you think with him writing. There is a slight eroticness to it, but this one's kind of more violent and gory than like actual sexual. You know what I mean? But it tells a really good story. But unlike the Breaking Glass, this one's kind of like the traditional Harley Quinn story told just kind of in a more elseworldy sense, but like this one's all about her as a psychiatrist with the Joker. You know what I mean? Like you're used to. It's really rad. I love the way it's rendered, and there's some fucking amazing action pieces in this book. Like we'll get to, but like when they're fighting in the with the smoke grenades. Like when she first sees Batman and the Joker the first time, I love the way that sequence is drawn with like their shadows.
The shadows from the light, onto the smoke. That's definitely some great renderings and panel layouts and dream sequences and flashbacks. This one has a little bit of everything, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So getting into this one kind of starts with Harley knowing what and subconsciously what's kind of going to happen to her. Even before she meets him, she's having these weird nightmares of this strange man like being surrounded by these bat creatures and like this giant monster attacking him, and only she can save him. And then we kind of get this really neat glimpse into the future that is to happen, you know, as this is being narrated by Harley in the future. And then we flash back to young, innocent Professor Harleen Quinzel, you know, like starting her career with her big idea. She's got this symposium going on, and she has this really cool theory about how, you know, the villains of Gotham and most psychopaths in general, like their psychopathia is caused due to their death of empathy, and she's trying to map on the brain how and exactly when that death of empathy happens, and that's basically what her study is. And she's up giving like this big symposium, and like she sees Lucius Fox in the audience, and like he like checks his watch and like leaves. So she thinks she's totally screwed the pooch. You know what I mean? She thinks that she's done in her field. You know, she might as well just, you know, give up and go home. So she's out drinking with your best friend. And
Fiona? Is that it? Is it Fiona, her friend's name?
Yeah. And she works in pharmaceuticals, and she had a big thing, but like her talk went very well because she knows how to, like, you know, sell the money side of it.
Play the game, yeah, exactly. Chandra is her name. Sorry, Chandra. Yeah, she knows how to play the game. Yeah, you got to sell them what they want. Like they're in, you know, it's the almighty dollar wins the day, right? Like, yeah, you got to sell them something they can sell, and then you'll get your grants to pursue your studies and for her theory there. So basically, she's doing all this to get grants to continue her research, basically.
Right. And so after this like bad day, and she's kind of shitty and drunk, she's walking home, you know what I mean? And then ka-fucking boom, there's the Joker and his boys. They just did some crime. You don't really know what it is, but they blew the place up after it. And like they're having a good old time talking about it. But like they walk up and see Harley just standing there like looking gobsmacked at him. So, you know, and Joker does his thing. And like basically she thinks that she's done for. So her whole life flashes before her eyes, and we kind of get the backstory of this Harley. And basically she was like this idealistic kid that like in a long about way discovered she kind of wanted to be a shrink. So she went to school and she was damn good at school, but she fell in love with her professor, and they kind of had a fling, and everybody found out about it, and like these girls that she knew from school actually end up working where she works. So like they're basically telling everybody that she was kind of like the school bicycle, type of
That's how she
thing.
got her nickname. That's how did she get the nickname Harley? And then the quote from the one girl is, "Oh, they call her Harley because every old dude in a midlife crisis has ridden her skanky ass." So that's how she got the nickname Harley. I love that. That was funny. I got a chuckle out of that one. Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
while she's sitting there waiting to die, she just hears laughter walking away from her, and the Joker just decided not to do it. Like he puts his gun away, and like he's like, "All right, boys, let's get in the car." He's doing his Joker shtick, and like there's a really funny scene between him and his henchmen while they get like taken out by Batman. Basically, Batman shows up. He's in his bat plane, and he's popping smoke, and like he jumps down, and like he's beating the shit out of the Joker while Harley's trying to sneak by, and like at some point she kind of just stops trying and just starts watching the madness with everybody else. She realizes she's not the only one. Like everybody in the streets is like that's there at the moment is just watching this chaos, watching Batman beat the shit out of the Joker. And that kind of like feeds into her thesis because she's seeing kind of the death of empathy. These people are just cheering watching Batman beat this poor guy. That's her mindset, at least right here. This
Yeah.
poor dude, like all he did was point a gun at my head. Like, why is Batman hitting him?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So basically after this traumatic night, she goes to work the next day, and her bully from school is there. Like, you slut,
Yeah.
how did you get it? And like Harley has no idea what she's talking about. So she goes into her boss's office, and she thinks she's fired. You know what I mean? She's like, I know my talk went terribly. Like, go ahead and give my parking spot to the nicest person. And like Lucius Fox is up in there, being like, nah, man, Bruce Wayne wants to give you money. Like, you're getting grants, and like, yeah, you're getting access to Arkham and to Blackgate and like all the prisoners you want to talk to. So
Gotham PD as well. So
yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
but they're gonna have to try to sneak it past Harvey Dent, because Harvey Dent doesn't want like any shrinks trying to get any of those people released, because he's trying to go for re-election. Plus, he's kind of a dick in this book. I think he's always kind of a dick, but
Yeah.
sometimes he's
Yeah.
a lot more
Definitely.
likable than he is in this book.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to Harvey Dent later. He's a big part of this, so we'll get to him later.
Yeah.
But basically, like, Harley gets to walk by her bully and like gives her the finger and like, yeah, you go ahead and put it here. And we get this really cool scene of like Harley not talking about not looking at her shadow, and you see like this really cool like shadow of her as future Harley with her mallet and gun.
Yeah, that's nice. That's a beautiful panel. I love that panel.
And meanwhile, like, her nightmares persist, man. She keeps having these nightmares worse and worse, kind of about the Joker now. And like her dream about like the Batman beating the bat creature surrounding the poor man is starting to make sense, but she can't get any sleep. Meanwhile, she's starting her first day at Arkham Asylum the next day. And guess who else's first day back at Arkham it is? Duh, 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 duh. They run right into each other in the hallway while she meets Mr. Bronson, the chief of security. He's a big part of this story. You might not think it, but yeah, poor Mr. Bronson, nice guy, good guy, family guy probably. Yeah, he kind of like really shows her the ropes of Gotham or of Arkham. I love. They kind of show the difference between her and the Joker's first day there, and I kind of like how he's telling her like, no, you don't want to smile around here. They'll eat you alive. Don't smile. So Harley hits it head on, but she is terrified to talk to the Joker because of her nightmares. So she kind of is setting up her
interview list.
Meanwhile, she goes and meets Dr. Hugo Strange, who's still running Arkham. And dude, they draw him looking so much like Doc Venture. I laugh so hard every time I look at this page.
From Venture Bros?
Yeah, straight up. I say, it's a speed suit. Hello.
Yeah, for sure. I see it too. Yeah.
But we we get really cool interactions with Harley meeting like a lot of the the Rogues Gallery that you see Zaz, you see her meeting Poison Ivy
Maybe.
in this one, and they kind of hint to them maybe having a friendship too if they do a sequel to this, which I really wish that they get Sejic to do. But like she meets Killer Croc and that's
Mad Hatter.
Hatter and Riddler.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
Riddler.
Meanwhile, she's not getting any sleep still. So like she calls her friend in pharmaceuticals and begs her to give her sleeping pills, which also don't work. So she actually has to start drinking. So she's like chugging booze. Meanwhile,
Yeah,
she's like
pass out. Yeah, so she can pass out and maybe get some sleep. But
while she's trying to acclimate herself to like get talking to the Joker, and she's like watching all his videos and like his interviews, and she's learning that like it's kind of like the Killing Joke, man. He never tells the same story twice. He's always making shit up. He's never genuine. He's always he's always making up something.
Yeah,
so she thinks that she's going to be able to get one over on him. So she's going to be prepared for him to lie to her. So like she thinks she actually has a game plan going in to talk to him this first time. But meanwhile, she does she has to go meet Harvey Dent first, and basically he gives her this whole spiel about like how you can't let any of them out. Actually, like he thinks a lot of them shouldn't even be allowed to be in the mental hospital. He wants to lock them all up in like prison.
Blackgate. Yeah, in Blackgate. Yeah. Yeah.
So she kind of gives him the what for and tells him that like he needs to get a new coin because like his two-sided one is like his opinion, you know what I mean? Like it only tells him what he wants to know. And like you get this really cool thing where she's like talking about like, but how was I to know? Like in just a couple months, both of us would be fucking monsters, you know what I mean? And you get this great panel of him as Two-Face and her as Harley.
Yeah. And his whole thing is if her research is successful, it sets a precedent that other lawyers will use to get all these killers off. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why he doesn't want her to go through with her research. It'll just make his job harder.
So she finally gets up her nerve after kind of telling Harvey Dent off. She's like, "Oh, I'm tough now. I can go talk to the Joker. I just been scared over nothing." So she goes and meets with them, but she's kind of still like hiding in the shadows and stuff. And then like he recognizes her right off the bat, which like kind of puts her ill at ease. But she kind of asks him like, "Why didn't you shoot me?" And he basically, and it's corny as hell, and it's so gaslighty. But he tells her, "I didn't do it because I wanted to see how it looked when you smile." And that plants the seed in the head, you know what I mean? Like where her dreams stop being kind of nightmares and kind of start being more sweaty, which, the cover of issue 2 just kind of gives it all away, right?
Yeah.
The hug, which is a big thing that's upcoming in this issue.
It opens up
with basically a flash forward of her and Joker, doing crimes, and you see her as Harley just smashing some dude's head in for holding a gun to Joker's head. And you're kind of like, oh, how does she get here? So like, the story kind of continues from there. And basically like her boss calls her and tells her that like, hey, turn on your TV, something massive's happened. And basically you find out that mob boss Maroni has just thrown acid in Harvey Dent's face. And basically like he's in a medically induced coma. And also due to this event, a bunch of Gotham cops have decided they're going to start a vigilante squad called the Executioners. And they've taken Maroni hostage and just straight murked him on live TV. But Batman shows up and beats him up, but like too late. Like they legit like offed a mobster on air.
So, late to the party, Mr. Playboy.
So that's setting up like big things to happen. Meanwhile, like Harley's kind of still going and still a little afraid to talk to the Joker, but she's doing it anyways. But she gets the call by Gordon, and Gordon says like, okay, you can come meet me. So she goes to Gotham Central, and she's kind of hanging out, and she meets the cops, and she hears one of the executioners talking about why they executed Maroni, and it's almost exactly like one of her patients earlier in the book told her about like why he was psycho, and like kind of like
Mr. Cook, a former
Marine,
uh,
right?
yeah, special ops. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so like it kind of reinforces her idea of the whole death of empathy thing, and so she basically she's there because she wants Gordon to call Batman because she has a question for him. So Gordon does it. Batman finally shows up, and she asks the big question: does he think they can be saved? And Batman's kind of vague, and he tells him some of them, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? It's worth a shot. And she asks him the Joker, and he's just like, no, many tried, you know what I mean? But like, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, well, why do you keep bringing him in? And he's just like, well, because I can't kill. I won't do it. I can't
Yes.
do it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, it's just she's like, well, if he can't be saved, why do you keep bringing him in? And like that's his answer. Like, I won't kill him, but like I don't think that like you can fix him. I don't think he's fixable. I think he needs to be locked up for the rest of his life. Is basically like what he tells her. But like she needs to kind of she doesn't buy it exactly. I think you know what I mean. I don't implicitly say, but I think that she thinks that Batman's wrong about it. Like, so she goes and meets the Joker again, and he kind of gives her the spiel. He kind of like plants in her head that all of people in Gotham are monsters, and basically we live in a society. You know what I mean? It's basically the meme from the movie. We live in a society. Like
Yeah.
is this that he gives her, and that night she does have the nightmare again. But this time she sees all of the people of Gotham around her as these horrible monsters, but wearing people masks, and they're just watching the poor Joker get beat.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, I love the way he draws this nightmare. Like the crazy people monsters, so fucking cool. Like I
Yeah.
love Satan's art, man.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, he Joker bribes a guard that has outstanding gambling debts to basically bring him Harley's file. So he finds out basically what her thesis is, anyway. So he's gonna
Yeah.
just continue to keep just jacking with her mind. You know what I mean? Like the Joker do. You know what I mean? This is a Harley and
Yep.
Joker story. So you know that there's going to be gaslighting. You know there's going to be a mental abuse and maybe even some physical, but maybe not really. We don't get to that in this book, but that's why I'm
No.
kind of hoping for a sequel. But basically, yeah, she kind of she's kind of meeting with her other criminals, but like she's not really paying attention to them anymore. Like she's gotten to the point where she's not even taking
Distracted.
notes anymore.
Mm-hmm.
She's just tape recording them. And Ivy, like she sees her pheromones are elevated, so she kind of actually hits on Harley, which for the people that ship him, that probably did some good
Yeah.
there.
Is it me? Is it me? What? What are you talking about? Oh, your pheromones are. Then she kind of blushes a little bit. I love that. He's great at facial expressions, right? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, the only other person I think is as good as the Stjepan facial expressions, like just subtle little things he does, is uh, Terry Moore.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
like
Very similar with that
so good.
photorealistic style. Yeah,
So like yeah, man. Like Terry Moore has just that little knack, just these little subtleties. Like you know how some people draw like over exaggerated expressions, try to like, damn, it's so subtle, but you know exactly what it is, right? It's so good, so freaking good. Mm.
and we find out that like it's gotten to the point where like Harley's sneaking back at night on her way out of work to watch the Joker sleep, and
Mm.
like yeah, she's got one for the guy, man. Like it's official at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, Meanwhile, like she's going and interviewing him. Well, basically, no, my bad. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Yeah,
yeah.
Harvey Dent wakes up and like he gives a press conference about coming back to work and like what happened to him, and basically like this is the first time Two-Face talks, and like he basically they ask him how he feels about the executioners, and he just goes off about like how they're heroes and like
Yeah.
you know and how justice is going to be different now that he's woken up, and foreboding, foreshadowing of things to come. But yeah, that's kind of where we sit for now. But back to Harley kind of interviewing the Joker. Now that he knows what's up, we get these kind of really neat allusions to fairy tales. Like Sayek draws her as Little Red Riding Hood, kind of falling into the big bad wolf's trap, and we basically get this neat scene where like she doesn't know it, but like at this point he is playing psychiatrist to her mental patient
Yeah.
because he knows what's up. And
Yeah.
basically he manipulates her to the point where she's turning off the camera and letting him out of his straitjacket during sessions.
But one thing that's great about these scenes is when we go back to where the Joker buys that file, bribes the guard. You're not told what that file is, right? That he just gives it to him, and there's nothing said about what that file is. So, like, you can make like logical conclusions to what that file was, which in the end we know that it's a file on Harleen and all her research, but it's not. It's fun because they don't say it outright. So like all these scenes are all like you said, like him like turning the tables on her, like uh, without her really knowing, like, and he knows exactly which buttons to push and which angles to take because he knows her research inside and out, right? So, and I love that, like you said, like that shot that you showed with her in the straight jacket chained up. Uh, I mean, fantastic stuff. Like that's great. I love that stuff. Mm.
And I mean, he does like when she lets him out. Like he knows he could probably go all the way right away, but like he just gives her like this behind hug, just to reassure her almost, and kind of like sells her on this whole like I don't know what you're doing to me. I've never felt like this before. She's feeling like, oh man, you just like what reading this like, don't do it, girl, don't fucking fall for it. But
Mm.
too late,
Yeah, the
too
ear,
late.
man. The ear that like just brushing up against an ear or like a slight, you know,
Yeah,
breath
it's
on the
that
ear. We'll
romantic
do it every
stuff.
time. Yeah, that'll
It's
that'll that'll melt a girl every time, man. I'm telling you, Joker's got game.
It sounds cheesy, but it works, man. Those little romantic gestures do work
Yeah,
wonders, man. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's got some game, big time.
So while this is happening, the executioners go, the ones that aren't in jail, go and meet up with Harvey Dent. They tell him, like, dude, we're down to be your gang. We heard what you said, and like, tell us what you need done. We're doing it. And Harv tells them, man, I got this perfect idea, and it has to do with Arkham Asylum. We let the prisoners out. We let them invade Gotham, and then after the chaos, everybody's going to be fine with us just executing every last one of them. So this is kind of like what's going to happen in the near future. Meanwhile, Harley is so smitten that she goes and finds that Batman is interviewing the Joker, and she goes and kind of like forces Batman out. And Batman
Oh
thinks that
yeah,
she's
she
being
loses it. She loses it on him. Yeah, yeah. She's like super protect, like right, because she's head over heels for, and well, she calls him Jay, right? And I like the fact that Jay is Jay. It's not just Jay, like the big J, like Harley always refers to him as Jay.
yeah.
So I like the way they do that too. Like she always refers to Joker as Jay.
And
Yeah,
she keeps getting caught doing it too. And people be like, Jay, and
yeah,
she's like, oh, I mean the Joker. It's
yeah.
like
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
I think at that point most people should have been like, hey, like, what's up? You know what I mean? Why
yeah,
why you get a pet name for the dude? That's kind of
yeah,
creepy. But
yeah.
a lot of people let it go, and even Batman does, because Batman just thinks that she's like really wants to help her patient. But like you see, like here at the bottom, like they're kind of snuggling against the glass, and oh, you schmarmy sucker, Joker, and like the way
Mhm.
say it, like because he's like emo El Guapo Joker in this too. He's all handsome with the
Yeah, yeah.
Antonio Banderas hair and shit, like.
Mhm.
So like Harley's ready, man. Like this next interview with Joker, she putting on makeup, she
Makeup.
getting her hair
Mhm.
did. She's gonna get down on the get down, and they
Yeah.
do. She lets him out of his straitjacket, and she's scratching his back because basically in this version, like it's like from the movie, he got dropped in the chemicals, so he can only feel. At least that's how he says he can only feel with his
Intense.
skin intense feelings. So you have to like actually cut him or like actually beat him pretty bad for him to actually feel it, according to like how his nerves
His
are in
nerve
this.
endings have been numbed from the chemicals, so it has to be deep, like a deep cut, deep laceration he can feel, but the surface of his skin, all the nerve endings have been damaged. So it's like a, in a state of constant numbness, his his tactical feel. Yeah, that's the way they explain it. Yeah.
So the night after that happens, like Harley's supposed to have the night shift, but before that happens, Harv and the executioners hit Arkham, and I love this scene because they're letting all of the inmates out, and like it's going pretty swimmingly for them, man. A lot of them were just like, okay, we're being let out, but they let the Joker out, and the Joker's like, hey, why are you letting me out, man? This makes no sense. Aren't you supposed to kill us? And they're like, oh, just take our gift, clown, and go. And then they let Killer Croc out, and Joker's just like, hey, Killer Croc.
They're here to kill us. They're here to kill us. They're here to try to kill all of us. So
Killer Croc just starts eating these fools, man. And it's total pandemonium in there.
In that panel with they bring 2 bags of dirt or a few bags of dirt that they throw on the floor of Poison Ivy's cell.
Yeah.
And that's that panel, man. That full splash page of her when they throw the dirt back. Oh yeah, and she starts channeling. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful panel. Yeah, love that. So good.
By the time Harley gets to work, like it's full. Like Batman's already there. He's fighting Bane. Commissioner Gordon telling her not to go inside. Man, Batman's in there fighting Bane. Like Mr. Freeze is freezing people downstairs. Like it's don't go in there. But she sneaks anyways because, like, oh, Jay might get hurt. The executioners are in there, and like the first person that she meets is Killer Croc, and like he's like, you're that annoying doctor, and like Ivy saves her, and she's just like, okay, and she straight launches fucking Croc out the building, man. It's great. And Batman and Bane, like they're running through walls, and like, dude, like all kinds of shit's going down. But basically, like the next person that runs into her is Harv, man. And Harvey Dent's like telling her, like, dude, you didn't listen to me. You went and did your research. You were going to let him out. So you're going to get my justice. Flips the coin, and Harley actually wins. So he goes like, okay, best
2 out of 3. Yeah.
And the Joker's like, that's cheating. And like comes and basically saves Harley, beats Two-Face's good side of his face in with the brick. And basically, at that point, Mr. Bronson, the really nice security guard, comes in and is basically going to shoot Joker, and Harley's begging him not to. Meanwhile, she picks up Harvey Dent's gun, and
well, he does shoot him in the arm as a warning, right?
Yeah, he does shoot.
Yeah, shoots him in the arm as a warning. That's when she jumps in front and shields him. Yeah.
And she doesn't mean to, but like she accidentally completely blows Mr. Bronson's brains out trying to defend Joker. And at that point, she completely just snaps. She just breaks as a person and starts laughing and becomes Harley Quinn pretty much. And the Joker completely won. Like, cause he like wonders what's laughing, and she basically tells him that like his joke was right at the beginning, that everybody is monsters. And we basically kind of end the book with Batman realizing that like he creates all his own villains, and like he is responsible for Harley Quinn's origin. And I don't care what Alfred says, it is on fucking Batman. It always is, in my opinion. It's all your fault, Batman. And we see Harley Quinn in full regalia going to smash heads in. Meanwhile, you see all the different versions of her screaming in the funhouse mirrors. You know what I mean? So you see that like Harleen is still in there somewhere, which is really great, which is why I really want Sejic to do a fucking sequel to this, man. Like there's so much grounds for it, because like they just focus kind of on like almost the nice side of the Joker and Harley Quinn relationship. They definitely show the gaslighting and the lying, but they don't show any of like the real abuse. And I kind of that's kind of the one gripe I have with this book. I kind of think that it's a little too soft, a little too romance.
Too much of a romance, yeah.
But at the same time,
he says it in the back matter. He's like, I gotta, lay off the romance novels or books or whatever, and
But at the same time, dude, this is the perfect Harley Quinn and Joker movie on paper. Like, all they have to do is adapt this to film, and it'll be a hit movie, man. It is so good. And
isn't that coming out this year?
Well, it's a sequel to that fucking Joaquin Phoenix one, and it's going to have Lady Gaga on it, and they're going to be doing musicals. It's
But
going to be like I'm talking about.
if you did adapt this, definitely, man, you got to get Timothy, because that opening scenes, those first two panels with the Joker, right away I was like, that totally looks like Timothy Chalamet. I was like, just cast Timothy Chalamet as the Joker in this. I mean, it looks just like him. I mean, let it grow his hair a little longer and just cast him as the Joker. In if you're going to adapt this book into a movie or live action, I mean, it's him for sure.
He's pretty young though, right? Isn't he like 19? Or he looks like it.
Well, Joker looks super young in this, man. Like he looks like he's in his late 20s at the oldest in this iteration of him. He looks extremely young in this book. Yeah.
I mean, like these were two really cool, completely different, odd but awesome Harley Quinn origin stories that pretty much came out at the exact same time. I remember I was getting Harleen, and Breaking Glass came out, I think, in between issues 2 and 3. So I mean, it was just really cool, fun overdose of awesome Harley Quinn at that time, and yeah, like 2019 was a pretty cool time to be a Harley Quinn fan, in my opinion. Also, I think the Stephanie Phillips series started not too long after that as well. So
yeah, it started into the pandemic. These ones came out just pre-pandemic, and the Steph Phillips got on Harley Quinn like right about when things started kicking back off. When everyone took a break, and Harley Quinn was one of the DC's first books back when coming back from out of the first freeze of the pandemic.
But I mean, they're kind of on polar opposites too. Like we said, like the Ink book, the Breaking Glass is kind of geared for kids. This one's on the more adult side, even though like I'd say it's only really adult because there's F-bombs in it and there's a little gore. Like otherwise, like this could actually have been like a regular DC Elseworlds title if they just could
Yeah.
some of the language, really,
Yeah.
Because like there is some sexual content, but it's really light. Like the panel that I showed where she's scratching his back, that's his
racy as it gets, pretty much. Yeah.
Which is weird
because there's that one panel where she's leaning back in her lingerie, like in her underwear and bra.
Yeah.
That may be the other one that's maybe slightly, risque, but very not like it could be a bathing suit. It's not that sexy. It is, but not to the point where it's needs to be, parental warning or mature warning subject matter. So
straight up. So I mean, like honestly, like I wouldn't really be worried about picking up either of these titles, like for it being too adult. I definitely recommend both of these highly, but like for slightly different audiences, like I said, Breaking Glass, if you have a kid, especially a daughter, like it would be such a fun book to read with them or just get them to read. But like I don't know, I don't have kids, but I always figured it'd be like really fun to read comics with them because I really enjoyed when my mom and my dad would read comics with me when I was little.
And it's definitely an alternate. The Breaking Glass is definitely an alternate take on the character, like fully an original take on the Harley Quinn character.
But yeah, I like I said, I think that Harleen would make a terrific film. I don't understand why it hasn't been adapted, or even if they just do it for HBO Max and like make a little short series out of it. That could be kind of fun too. Get on that, man. Like, I know that it won't fit in with James Gunn's thing, but like if you kind of tie it in with the Batman, maybe it'll work.
Yeah. Well, they're not scrapping that whole part of the DCU, so maybe like the whole Batman universe is going to be its own kind of thing that won't be influenced by James Gunn as much. So
yeah, the Matt Reeves stuff that's connected to the Batman and the stuff that's connected to Todd Phillips's Joker are like completely left alone, but everything else is going to have to fit in with James Gunn's. Oh, and I guess the Keanu Reeves Constantine universe too, because they're making the sequel to that now That's all but confirmed.
That's official now. That's been announced. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Like
And is going to be Keanu's going to be reprising his role, or
yeah, it's in production. They're writing it, from what I understand, and like they're going to go from there. But like it's in production, like it's happening, and Keanu's
damn
down
it.
if they have a good idea for it and everything.
Yeah,
They have
that's
a good
too bad.
script. Why? What's too bad about it? I'm pretty
I mean, I mean, I love the Constantine movie, but you know my feelings about who I'd like to see play Constantine.
Oh, well, they maybe in the James Gunn verse they could get Tilda Swinton to show up and play Joanna Constantine. You know what I mean? Or
I would
something.
love to see her play Constantine. I mean, I think she'd be like knock it out of the park as Constantine. She's got the look, and I've seen a lot of different roles she's played. She definitely has the attitude. She could do the attitude like perfect. That like prickish kind of, like
Snarkiness.
yeah, like she's got that, and she's got the look too, and she can totally sell it, right? But
Yeah,
that snarky where you're like, this guy's an asshole, but I can't help but like him. She can pull that off so easily. That type of characterization of the character, like she can totally do it so easily because she's done it a million times in her movies. Like even in the Constantine when she plays Gabriel, right?
yeah,
And she's such a prick in that, and she could totally like. I mean, fuck yeah, I'd love to see her as Constantine.
yeah.
That'd be like that. That's on my wish list of if you're gonna redo some DCU shit, like cast her as Constantine. Yeah.
Yeah, Spanky Constantine is gender swapped in the Sandman. Basically, like they already had Joanna Constantine as a character in the comics, so they kind of just made John a complete descendant of her with the same last name and everything. But it's the same issue. Like it's the same story as when he shows up in Sandman. Like she helps him get the bag of sand back, pretty much, just like in the comic. It's great. I really like the lady that played him. She was, and it's definitely like the hottest John Constantine's ever been. But like, yeah, man.
Yeah. No, but I like, and Tilda has that look where you're like, you don't know, like, right? It's
I've
both ways, man. Like she's got that look. She's just, I'll stop now.
Well,
it won't happen. So
if you see the covers from when Paul Jenkins wrote Hellblazer, man, like they actually kind of draw him looking like her, either like her or like Rhys Ifans as John Constantine.
Yeah,
I think he would have been a really good version of him too. I love Rhys Ifans. He's really, really cool, crazy, funny guy. And I thought he would be a really good John too. But yeah, man, like that. This was another new big Tuesday for y'all, and I really love both these books. I can't recommend them highly enough. Not sure what we'll do for the next one. We might do another new complete DC one because we did 2 Marvel ones in a row, but we'll see, man. I want to do a 50-50 one again soon. It's a lot more fun. Maybe we'll have Spinky on with us. He loves his Marvel and DC, but
he loves his Marvel. He liked Marvel from the time you liked it, like the Marvel Now. Is that it?
I love the Marvel Now era, dude. I read.
Yeah, Spanky's likes the Marvel Now stuff too, so that's definitely something you guys could start fucking fanboying over for sure.
Yeah, man, we do the Hickman Avengers versus what's his name, Bendis's X-Men. Both really good. Good night, Spanky. Have a good one. And yeah,
thanks for tuning in, man.
We'll be back on Thursday with what are we doing on Thursday, Joe? You got
Friday. Sorry, Friday. Yeah, I have my calendar here. Friday, December 8th, 9 p.m. We're doing our first episode of My Precious, which is a new segment we're premiering where we dig into our collection. We pick out some of our most prized possessions in our comics collection or whatever you have in your collection of nerddom, your prized possessions. Then the following Tuesday, the 12th of December, we have Pierre Dola. Then on the 14th, we're doing Ether and Cosmic Detective. Then on the 17th, Sunday, the 17th of December, we're doing part 4, the final chapter to our Deadly Class series. Then December 19th, we have our second episode of Caged Love. We're going to be kind of channeling the Christmas spirit a little bit. We're going to be doing Trapped in Paradise. Cookie will be joining us for that. That'll be an 8 p.m. Show. Then on the 22nd of December, we're coming back with our annual Naughty and Nice episode where we pick our favorites from the year. Yeah. And sometimes our not so favorites. So then we'll be doing our annual Naughty or Nice, and that'll pretty much be our December. Then we might throw an episode in between Christmas and New Year on the 28th or 29th. We haven't decided yet, but that pretty much that's our schedule for December.
Yeah, about that, I was thinking like that It's a Wonderful Knife movie is up for rent online, so like maybe we could watch that and do like a review.
Oh, it's up now?
Yeah, I saw that. It
was cool.
For rent.
Yeah, cool, man. Yeah, we could do that. We could do that on a Friday night, man. We'll do that on the 29th then. Boom. 29th. We'll do the, what's it called?
It's a Wonderful Knife.
It's a Wonderful Knife on the 29th. We'll do that. Sounds good.
That's slasher Christmas movie, kind of like a slasher take on It's a Wonderful Life.
Sold.
Looks like it could be wonderful or terrible or terribly wonderful. Who knows?
There, so we'll have one extra kind of Christmassy thing to add to our schedule for December. There you go. So that fills out our December, man. Awesome.
Yeah. Joe went out of his way to like get the whole itinerary for the month knocked out. So like everybody at home, give Joe a virtual round of applause and like maybe like the video. You know what I mean? Because Joe really deserves it. But until next time, until Friday, we'll see y'all later. Take it easy, guys.